Welcome, guys. Hello. Put it back to the front now. Turn it down. So welcome, guys, to the Stories of the Dark Side with Sherry. So tonight we are going to be having some bits of information read about some haunted places known in the UK and in America. Then followed on by some very scary ghost stories, guys. I've got music playing in the background to give it that little atmosphere. Thank you. So, the first one we're going to be talking about, which is a haunted place in America, and that is the Stanley Hotel. I have tried to get as much information about Stanley Hotel as I possibly can. I've found one page, and it's saying that the Esther Park Colo, the Rocky Mountains, are home of a hotel that's widely considered one of the most haunted places in America, and it has ties one of the most haunted places in America, and it has ties to the renowned horror film The Stanley Hotel. Is in State Park, Colorado. Is said to be haunted by several different ghosts, from the past owners to children and even a couple of pets. Along with its haunted reputation, the Colonel Revelle style hotel also inspired author Stephen King to write The Shining, one of his most popular novels that was adapted into a 1980 film starring Jack Nicholson. Haunted history of Stanley Hotel. The Stanley Hotel was built by inventor Freeman Oscar F.O. Stanley, who moved out of Colorado hoping that the fresh air and plentiful sunlight would relieve his tuberculosis. When he arrived in 1903, he was weak and underweight, but after just one session, hotel staff says his health was restored. The hotel says Stanley was so overjoyed that he vowed to return each summer and ended up building the hotel to bring a level of sophistication to the region. The Stanley Hotel opened in 1909. Stanley died in 1940 at the age of 91, but his spirit is said to still roam the hotel. Specifically, staff say he is often spotted in the hotel Belinda room and bar. Stanley's wife, Flora, has also reportedly been spotted in the hotel and is known to tickle the keys of a piano. Another ghost that has been said to show up in the former housekeeper of the hotel is Elizabeth Wilson, or Mrs. Wilson. Tour guides say Wilson was lighting lanterns in room 217 when she was seriously injured in an explosion. She survived the blast but passed away years later. Now it seems Wilson is regular in room 217. Guests reported items being moved, luggage being packed up, and lights going on and off. It also seems that Wilson is rather conservative. Guides say she's not a fan of unmarried couples. People who aren't married have reported feeling a cold presence between them while in bed. The spirits aren't limited to adults. Tour guides say ghosts of children with autism and also rooms that grounds and is known to play with the hair of guests. Staff says the boy's name is Billy. He is drawn to people who work with people with autism or are families with the development disorder. On the fourth floor, guests have also reported hearing children running and around and laughing and playing. Guides say that where nannies and the kids they watched would spend much of their time back in the day. Not all of the hotel purported ghost stands on two legs. There's a pet cemetery on the grounds that guides say is the final resting place of some of the owner's animals. Staff say the ghosts of the cat and the dog has been seen roaming around. Guides end their tours in the caves below the hotel, where staff say there are higher than average concentration of limestone and quartz, which is believed by some to draw spirits to the property. During a recent apparition of The View, Stephen King explained that he was living in Boulder, working on The Stand, when he and his wife took a weekend off from their kids. We ended up staying at the place called the Stanley Hotel, said King. It was there last day of season. Everybody was leaving and nobody was coming in, and we'd said we could check in. An employee told King that they could stay if they could pay cash because the hotel had already sent its credit receipts back to the Denver King. King happens to have the money. We were the only people in the hotel, and the wind was whistling outside and the rooms were all empty. Legend has it that during King's stay in room 217, he had had a lucid nightmare about his young son being chased around the hotel. Guides say the author jerked out of bed, went outside to smoke a cigarette, and that's when he started to lay the groundwork of The Shining. Over the years, many people have claimed to have captured the ghosts of the hotel on camera. One instance was in 2016 during a tour of the hotel. Guides had also shared some of the photos that they say show the spirits. The Stanley Hotel today has been beautifully restored and hosts guests years round. Those interested in learning more about the history of the legacy of the hotel and the haunted folk go on a range of tours. The hotel also hosts for weddings, corporate events and other parties through the year. Stanley House seems quite an interesting place in my opinion because it sounds like it's haunted by quite a few spirits. I have heard people in the past saying about Stanley House. Hello, Rambling Hicks. How are you? I'm okay, darling. Angelic Dreams. Hello. The thing is it's really hard to try and find the history of it because they don't give you very much. They've gave me that, but it does sound very, very interesting, and it's definitely a place that I'd want to go and see. It looks very creepy as well. There's meant to be tours there. There's meant to be investigations. People go for investigations there. I've been trying to find out the history of it. The most reported haunted spots of Stanley Hotel are Colorado's famed Stanley Hotel is a repeat guest on most haunted list. The East Park Hotel, most definitely worthy of a day trip from Denver, has also hosted in fair shares of paranormal investigators from shows like the Travel Channel to Ghost Hunters and the Sci-Fi Ghost Adventures. The hotel's paranormal investigators, Lisa Neihart, who leads monthly ghost hunts, which are more in-depth than the 90-minute hotel tours that happen to multiply times throughout the day, has referral to the hotel as a Disneyland for ghosts. But the Colony Revealed style hotel that was first opened in 1909 is sprawling to say the least. The hotel features 420 room plus bedrooms, dining areas, and an underground cave system. More on that later. The hotel's most famous stunt, perhaps, was the creepy out horror ride Stephen King. So much so that he pinned The Shining, but several other guests retell ghost stories of their own, reporting lights flickering off and on, doors abruptly slamming shut, seeing shadows, getting chills, and hearing the laughter of children. Before we narrow down the most haunted places of the hotel, we have picked a pointer from a second tour guide at the hotel on how to best capture ghosts on camera. Her pro tip takes 5 or 6 quick shots to capture a flittering spirit. Oh, and bring up backup batteries, because paranormal experts will tell you if spirits are present, they'll have a draining effect on your batteries. Now you are ready to capture orbs. A television screen outside of the Stanley Hotel. Tour offices feature plenty of ghosts caught on camera by tour guests. Ready to proceed? Here we have Here's where you're most likely to find ghosts, and we will double dog dare you to book a night in the room on the 4th floor. Room 217. Perhaps the most famed spot in Stanley Hotel. This is where the horror writer Stephen King spent the night and got the inspiration for the 1977 bestseller The Shining. You can soak up the same rocky mountain view that King got when he stayed there, and an added amenity. The room has a library of King novels. The King of and his wife arrived at the hotel. It was closing down for the season, and they were the only overnight guests staying there. They ate dinner in an empty dining room while pre-recording orchestra music playing before returning to their room on the suspicious and eerie empty second floor. King woke up that night to a terrifying dream about his 3-year-old son being chased through the corridors and screaming. King jerked out of bed, realizing it was a dream. He lit a cigarette, and on the balcony and the plot of his now famous book shaped up. The room is thought to be haunted by Elizabeth Wilson, aka Mrs. Wilson. She was the hotel head housekeeper, and during a storm in 1911 was injured during an explosion, and she was lighting the lanterns in room 217. She survived that, but broke her ankle, and her spirit seems to be regular in the room. Guests have reported items being moved, luggage being packed, and lights turning on and off. Oh, and Mrs. Wilson is old-fashioned. She doesn't like it when unmarried guests shank up together, so some couples have reported feeling a cold force between them. One of the biggest myths about the room is that it's never available. Not true. You can actually book it and stay there if you dare. The Vortex is the second place in Stanley Hotel. From the architectural standpoint, the staircase between the floors in the hotel main guest house is a stunner, but the area has also been dubbed the Vortex, a natural spiral of energy. It's also known as the rapid transit system for ghosts that are known to haunt the hotel. The concert hall. There is a lot of paranormal hubbub said to be happening in this famed concert hall. Paul, one of the well-known ghost hunters, the Stanley was a jack of all trades around the hotel. Among his duties, enforcing an 11 p.m. curfew at the hotel, which could be why guests and workers here get out being uttered late at night. Their area is also a favourite spot for the hotel founder Flora Stanley's ghost to play the piano a few of the piano notes. A construction worker reported he felt Paul nudge him while he was standing the floor, and the tour groups of the Stanley Ghost Tours have reported he flickered and flashed for them. He flickered a flashlight for them. Another ghost known to wander about the concert hall is Lucy, who is quite possibly was a new runaway of homeless women who found refuge in the hall. She entertains the request of ghost hunters, often communicating with them with flashlights. Stanley's historians, however, aren't quite sure about her pre-death connection to the hotel. Room 401. More than a century ago, the entire fourth floor was a cavernous attic. It's where female employees, children and nannies stayed. Now today, guests will report hearing children running around, laughing, giggling and playing. Plus there's a famous closet that tends to open and shut on its own in this room. Room 420A. Really? You get a badge of bravery for staying in any room on the 4th floor, but bonus points if you can book room 428. Guests have reported hearing footsteps above them and furniture moving about, but that's actually physically impossible given the slope of the room. Tour guides say the real haunt in the room is thought to be a friendly cowboy who appears at the corner of your bed. The Grand Staircase. From unique mirrors and portraits, there's plenty to direct the eye on the Grand Staircase at Stanley, but it could also be a popular passageway for the hotel's residents' ghosts. In 2016, a visitor from Houston snapped some photos on the Grand Staircase, and upon returning home and reviewing these, he spotted an apparition at the top of the staircase. The thing is, he don't remember anybody else being on the staircase at that time. He was thinking that the photographs, the ghostly image of a woman is at the top of the stairs. The underground caves. If you go on the 75 minutes night spot tour at the Stanley, you don't have to be a hotel guest to go on it, but you should book in advance. Your tour will come to an eerie halt at the end with a visit to the underground cave system. Workers moved about the hotel through the caves in the early days, so it makes sense this is a popular haunt. Skeptics will pass off the hunts as breeze from the historic piping and ventilation system, but beneath the hotel is higher than average construction of limestone and quartz, which some ghost hunters believe help capture energy at the property. That's really interesting. That is mad. So you've got a female that stands on the stairs, you've got children that are running and laughing, you've got the apparition of a lady in a room and a man. Hello, Mama Liam. Hello, Liam. Hello, Astrid. Hello, Eli family. Boston J, Wikia Pissia Paranormal. Hello, my darling. Exploring Ginger. Hello to everybody in the room. Lots of love and light. So hello, my thinking, my darling. So that was the Stanley Hotel history. So now we shall go on to the horrifying history of Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. I will call it the Trans. The Trans Lunatic Asylum was supposed to be a place of peace and restoration, but it soon developed into a madness and destruction. Deep in the heart of West Virginia, surrounded by sweeping grounds and green lawns, there is a beautiful long building with a tall steeple in the center. It looks like an expensive boarding school or an attractively weathered manor house. The structure is neither, now abandoned. It was once the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, and its halls witnessed heuristics that left the marks of the building and the surrounding community. The asylum wasn't always a nightmare faculty. In fact, when it was commissioned in the early 1850s, its conception marked one of the first hopeful developments in the centuries for mental patients. The building was the brainchild of Thomas Story Kirkbride, a doctor and crusader for the mentally ill, who founded what would in time become Americans Psychiatric Association. Kirkbride built on the foundation established by famous reformer Dorothy Dix, who sought to disabuse people of their misconceptions about mental illness, namely that it was a showy, irresistible condition best treated in darkness with force and physical restraint. Shaky as the science behind some of the Kirkbride's medical ideas was, it undoubtedly led to more humane and all-around more effective plan of treatment for the residents of his asylum than anyone other would have practiced of the area. He emphasized the importance of light and fresh air, suggested that the asylum be built as long halls with 12-foot ceilings, plenty of windows, and ventilation that allowed for cross breeze. The hallway leading to the patient's room is the main building of the Transcendental Lunatic Asylum in the western West Virginia. He also emphasized freedom. Mental patients, he felt, should be allowed to roam as much as possible and find stimulation from their minds. They would behave better, not worse, if given more control over their own lives. His idea inspired the construction of 73 Kirkbride hospitals across the country in the second half of the 19th century, including the Transcendental Lunatic Asylum. From good intentions to a terrifying reality. When it opened its doors in 1863, the Lunatic Asylum, renamed the West Virginia Hospital for the Insane, was a model of Thomas Kirkbride's idea. It could house 250 patients, each with their own comfortable room. Skilled stonemasons have been brought in from Germany and Ireland to contribute to the architecture that featured wide open windows, giving patients access to natural light and fresh air. The grounds were magnificent and suitable, including a working farm, dairy, waterworks, gas well, and cemetery. It was, as architect Richard Snowden Andrews had intended to be, a self-sufficient state-of-the-art faculty designed to make patients feel at home, well cared for and restored. Then in 1881, disaster struck due to an increase in mental health diagnosis and the stigma surrounding the disease. The Lunatic Asylum found its traditional faculties overrun, housing almost 500 more patients than they'd ever imagined. The hospital couldn't keep up. Conditions began to decline dramatically. Patients were crammed together with sometimes 4 or 5 to a room intended for one. The farm and the dairy on the compound, originally designed to provide for 300, were unable to meet the increased demand that came with the overcrawling. Patients begun to suffer from malnutrition, which only exacerbated mental health issues. By 1938, the Trans Lunatic Asylum was 6 times over capacity. The patients inside were running wild and odorless, outnumbered, struggled to regain control. At its peak in the 1950s, the hospital was holding 2,600 patients, more than 10 times the number it was intended to the house. To expose the terrifying condition within, the Charleston Gaze attempted to send in a crew to investigate the inner workings of the asylum. What they found shocked them. Patients were sleeping on the floor and in the freezing rooms due to the lack of furniture and heat. The overcrowding had resulted in overworked staff and a decreased emphasis on situations. The one brightest clear window were covered with grime, darkening and further chilling the room. The wallpaper was peeling from decay and hadn't disintegrated on its own. The patients had torn it off in a panic. Worse still, were the patients themselves. Those whom the orderlies deemed unable to be controlled had been locked into cages in open spaces in an attempt to make more bedrooms available for the less worrisome inhabitants. The asylum had also become a training ground for experimental lobotomies. Also, Walter Freeman, the famous surgeon and lobotomy advocate, opened up shop. In the course of his lifetime, Freeman performed some 4,000 lobotomies, leaving sometimes perfectly healthy patients with lasting physical and cognitive damage. His ice pick method, which involved slipping a thin point rod like an ice pick into a patient's eye socket and using a hammer to force it to sever the condition tissues in the brain's prefrontal cortex, resulted in a number of deaths. By the time the asylum closed, only one part of its grounds had been expanded to accommodate the new demand, the graveyard. The exposed published by the Gartseys spurred a moment to close down the hospital, but it wasn't until 1994, after more than 100 years of squalor, that the Trans Lunatic Asylum closed its doors forever. Now, the one ornate building intended for healing but disdained for destruction sits abandoned, as if the patients simply vanished into thin air. Rooms are still filled with medical equipment and discreet furniture, and wheelchairs sit in the hallways. Since 2007, tours have been made available for those who wish to see the asylum firsthand. Ghost hunters, the building most frequently visited, say they can feel the presence of the hundreds who perished in shocking conditions. The skepticals deny this, but all agree the building serves a reminder of the shameful past and an urgent call to do better in the future. Today, it stands as a testimony to the inhuman practices once used in the mental health. Sitting on 666 acres, this spooky area is the home to numerous buildings, including a museum, a gift shop where a few of the remaining employees still work, and an abandoned cemetery. Famous for its looming structures, it was built using the Kirkbridge design, a design common to asylums of the early 19th century. Much of the asylum remains closed off to the general public, as the main building and the outbuildings are in bad repair and are structurally unsound. A wide choice of tours are available, and spectacularly supernatural ghost hunts, even overnighters, are available for those searching for tortured spirits who have yet to escape. Know before you go, there are occasional ghost hunts events that open three of the back buildings. They are separate from their national tour hunts. The overnight ghost hunt tour cost around £100 per person and has a limited slot available, but for those wanting a bit more freedom to explore, this is a really great experience. They label this as the ghost hunt, but it's also an awesome legal urban exploration of an abandoned set of an asylum building. It's the superb opportunity for photographers. Make sure to visit the official website. The first floor self-guided tour is 10, and the fourth floor 90 minutes tour 30. Focus on the history and the evolution of the mental treatment and the history of the asylum from its construction and architecture to the patients, staff, treatments, and the inner workings, and the historian delight. There is a military discount, but only for the historical tour. Yes, there is a modest gift shop. Wow, see, that's another place. This place, a lot of patients endured a lot of evil and bad. Hello, Maggie, and some really evil and bad treatments. Even the electro shock therapy and all that would have been performed in there. Hello, Free Souls. Hello, Gerald. So again, another place that's very haunted. Most of that place is haunted. You can go on tours. You can go and experience the history of this place. So that was the Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. Looks very spooky. It just has that sort of look and that eerie way to it. And yeah. that is definitely a place that I'd want to go to and get an experience, and hopefully maybe be able to help some spirits as well, because I'm sure a lot of them souls are trapped because of the horrible things that they went through. So that's very sad, that one. Our next place, which is one of my most favouriteest places, if I could buy this place, I would buy it, literally, just because of what it is, and that is the Winchester Mystery House. Winchester to me is a beautiful, beautiful building, and has got a lot of history. Obviously, Sarah was the wife of her William, and he's the one that had first bought the house for his wife and built it to how he wanted it and how she wanted it. And then when he sadly passed away, Sarah continued to add to the building, making it one of the biggest haunted attractions ever and the biggest houses of history. So, the Winchester Mystery House is the artificial wonder of the historic landmark in San Jose, CA, that was once the personal residence of Sarah Lockwood Purdy Winchester, the widower of William Wirt Winchester. Adherence to the large position of the Winchester repeating arms furniture. Tragedy befell Sarah. Her infant daughter died of a childhood illness, and a few years later her husband was taken from her by tuberculosis. Shortly after her husband's death, Sarah left their home in New Haven, CT, and moved on to the west to San Jose, CA. There she bought an 8-room farmhouse and began what could only be described as the world's largest home renovation, stopping only when Sarah passed on September the 5th, 1922. From 1986 to 1922, construction seemingly never ceased as the original 8-room farmhouse grew into the world's most unusual and sprawling mansion feature. 24,000 square feet, 10,000 windows, 2,000 doors, 160 rooms, 52 skylights, 47 stairways and fireplaces, 17 chimneys, 13 bathrooms, 6 kitchens, built at a price tag of $5 million in 1923 or $71 million today. But when remains is indeed a mystery. Even before her passing, rumours of a mysterious house being built by an eccentric and wealthy woman swelled. She was instructed to build this home by a physician. Was she haunted by the ghosts of those felled by the gun that won the West? Did the construction truly never stop? What motivated a well-educated socialite to cut herself off from the rest of the world and to focus almost solely on the building the world's most beautiful yet bizarre mansion? Sarah Winchester was a woman of independence, drive and courage who lives on in legend, and the mansion she built is world renowned as much for the many designs, curiosities and the inventions, many ahead of their time, as it is for a reported paranormal activity that resides within these walls. These mysteries and more are what has drawn over 12 million guests to visit the Winchester Mystery House since the doors opened June 30, 1923. Will you be able to unlock the mystery? Nearly 100 years after the house opened its for tours, millions of guests have visited Sarah Winchester's beautiful home. We've been mentioned in many top definitions. It's all around the world. A top destination of US Today, the most mysterious place on earth, 10 haunted places, the top 10 haunted places, a top haunted destination travel channel, a top 10 haunted place Time magazine, and 10-time best haunted destination USA Today. This house has always interested me. It's so stunning, and rumours say that she built the house because of spirits being in the house. So she made it inhabitable for good spirits, and she'd done the walls that are inside doorways and other places so that negative energy could not get into the house. I believe personally that she had some sort of spiritual connection to spirits for her to do what she did to that house. Again, very beautiful, very much equipped and built to her, because obviously she had arthritis and things as well. It was very well built, but there was a lot of the area that was left and she couldn't repair, and that, and obviously after she died it was left like that, and obviously the people that took over it now, maybe they're trying to do it up, or I know that if it was my house I'd be doing it up, but keep it as near to how she would have had it. The resultive hire to the Winchester Raffle fortune, who is haunted by the angry spirits of those killed by her family, famed firearms. It all centered of the ghost story of Winchester in the theatre on the Friday. Helen Mirren plays the widow Sarah Winchester, though to be insane, as she orders constant expansion and revelation of her bizarre Victorian mansion. More horror films will be booked by the effect in 2018. Almost 10 must-see films of 2018, from the new Fantastic Beast to Mary Poppins. There are many things about the movie that are absolutely real, says Peter Spurg, who directed Winchester with his brother Michael. But were ghosts haunting Sarah's Winchester, as people said at the time? There's nothing to confirm that or deny it either. Here's what he knows to be true. There was a real Sarah Winchester. The Sololite hairstylist made a splash when she moved to the San Jose from Connecticut in 1984, following the death of her husband William. and their baby 15 years prior. Winchester was a highly discussed collaborator even before she began directly overhauling the home that became known as the Winchester Mystery House. She was Bill Gates' rich from this famous house, so people watched her, talk about her, and speculated, saying Janine Boham, officially historian at Winchester Mystery House, now a preserved tourist attraction. Her Winchester House is a marvel in opulent oddness. The home started with 8 rooms. By 1906, it was 7 stories high with an estimated 90 rooms. The movie riff of the oft-repeated legend that Winchester had been instructed by a spiritual medium to keep the building to ward off the spirit hauntings the house, but there is no indication of that in the Winchester letters or those of her confidant, Boham says. An alternative theory, Winchester was occupying her mind as a way of dealing with her personal grief. We may never know why she built like she did, says Boham, but people do certainly conjure. The home's bizarre features include a door to nowhere. The Winchester Mystery House includes fascinating features. Stairwells go straight into a ceiling. A doorway opens to a 2-story drop. There's a design pre-operation with a number of 13 closets with 13 hanger pegs, halls with 13 ceiling panels. Possible explanation vary from an attempt to confuse haunting spirits to design mischievous resulting from constant construction, but there's nothing definite. This really is a perplexing house, says Boham. The Great Earthquake Rocket. The famous 1906 San Francisco earthquake, rather than the film Rampling Spirit, did several damages to Winchester home, trapping her in a room. They had to free her with a crowbar, Holmes says. The terrified Winchester tore down the top 3 damaged floors and spent more time on her nearby houseboat, but continued building out. In 1922, she died of heart failure in her bedroom at Winchester House at aged 82. Visitors still insist it's haunted. While Winchester herself never mentioned hauntings and friends denied them, speculations was rampant. Harry Hoganey himself visited after Winchester's death to debunk spiritualists, but the ghost stories continue today. Some visitors have sworn to have seen the wheelbarrow ghost, a kindly apparition in the white overalls who apparently works on the house. There is a good energy here, says Boham. Even if none of the ghost stories are true, Sarah Winchester was a truly fascinating person. What do you think, guys? I don't know. I think that, she had some link. She knew that there was something in the house, and I think that from what you get from Sarah Winchester, she was a very private person anyway, so I don't think she would have let out things like that anyway, even if she was having them experiences. I personally believe that Winchester is haunted, and many say it is. And I do believe that she was building that house the way it was because there was other energies in the house. Hello, Paranormal Wales. Hello, Claire. I am not ignoring you guys. I am just reading. Orion Grays. Hello. Hello, Kate. Hello, darling. How are you liking? So I got 3 on the American USA. So now what I want to do is I am here, but now I need to change that over and go to the oh, sorry, Bill. I didn't realise she was there. It's because you're so dark. Now I've got to get the 3 places that I was doing in the UK. Right, hang on. I'm going to be doing an overnight ghost thing as well. All I'm going to do is just put the girls out a little bit, put out the motion sensor, maybe put some EVPs out. I need ghost. Oh my god, about sheep. Paranormal Wales. So excuse me guys, I haven't looked at this bit yet. So now we are moving on to 3 haunted places in the UK. Just having a look. Right. Hang on a minute, guys. I have to make sure that I've got everything how I want it. So I've got the stories up already, so I don't have to be looking for them. Hang on a minute, guys. I am with you. I'm just trying to get the next ones up. Then after this, I'll be doing a couple of ghost stories. Right, so the first place, guys, that we're going to be talking about in the UK is Pluckly Village. Pluckly Village is said to be one of the most haunted villages in the UK. There's meant to be quite a few different spirits and some history behind it. I don't know very much about it, but I'm about to read to you. But I do know that it's meant to be very, very haunted. Pluckly, the 15 horrifying ghost and chilling nightly screams in Kent's most haunted village. Pluckly is believed to be one of the most haunted villages in the country. From the supernatural highwayman, a fright corner, to the continuous screaming man, there is non-storage of spooky stories from the ash-formed village. Home to just over 1,000 people, there have been more than a dozen ghost sightings in the recent years. In 1989, the Ashford village was even named the Guinness World Records most haunted village in England. Here is a look at 15 of the most remarkable tales reported by people. We went ghost hunting in Pluckly, England's most haunted village. Here's what happened. The highwayman haunting. With a name like Fright Corner, it's unsurprising this road in Pluckly is the site of one of the ghosts who is said to regularly appear. It is believed the highwayman was killed here in the 18th century. It's claimed he got into a fight with those in charge of keeping the peace in the village. They pinned him to an oak tree with a sword, and it's said their sword fight is re-enched away with the same consequence. Don't go into the woods. It might look like the perfect place for a sedate country stroll, but there are reports that Dicky Bush's Lane is anything but. Named after a miller, that are claims the corpse of a teacher who hung himself have been seen. He is said to have taken his own life following World War I, and his body was found by Dicky, the miller the lane is named after, several weeks later. Screams of agony. There can be a few deaths as horrific as being crushed to death by a wall of clay, but for one unlucky brick worker in Pluckly, that's how he met his gruesome end. People claim to be able to hear and still hear his screams of agony from the site of the brickworks. haunted horses. The sound of ghostly horse hoofs would definitely chill the blood, and people living in Pluckly have put up with these regularly. Visits of the horse-draw carriage, along with a click-clop of horse hoofs, haunt Moulton's Hill according to the locals. A babysitter even reported seeing the coach as if it was real, with light pouring from it windows as horses pulled it along the street. And back in 1997, one driver almost crashed when they heard the clatter of hooves on the cobbles on a tarmac road. The Red Lady in the Graveyard. Few places are spookier than a cemetery, and Pluckly's is even more terrifying than most. Lady Daring was buried here in the graveyard of the local church, St. Nicholas, in the 1100s, in a coffin made of lead, with a red rose placed on top of her final resting place. There have been sightings of her now known as a Red Lady after her rose wandering the graveyard and willingly wailing while she searches for the grave of her stillborn baby. The Menacing Monk. A house gravestone was always going to be imposing and threatening, and this one has its own ghostly monk for good measures. The house was originally built in 1863 and was called Rectory Cottage, as it was the home of the rector of St. Nicholas Church nearby. Nowadays, its most famous resident is said to be the ghost of the monk. However, since it was remained greystone, the monk seems to have hidden himself, as there have been no reports of unusual activity. Gypsy Ghost. Pinnock Bridge is the perfect spot to sit while and take in the stunning surroundings, whether you're alive or dead. The bridge is said to be haunted by a gypsy woman who made her living selling watercress she collected from the stream below. She had been spotted sitting on the bridge and smoking a pipe. It's believed to be the spot where she lost her life after being accidentally burned to death. The woman appears as a misty figure who never speaks, simply sits there smoking her pipe. Pub ghouls. The Atmosphere pub, the Blacksmith's Arms, boasts not one but three ghosts. Previously called both the Spectre's Arms and the Ghost's Arms, because there have been so many hauntings, strange things are still going on behind its walls to this day. Among the figures who have been sighted in the pub, there are a Tudor maid, a coachman who gazes longingly at the fire in the public bar, and a caviller wandering around the upstairs rooms. Misty Miller. Richard Dickey Bush, who had a lane which is obviously also haunted, was a well-known figure in the village last century. He was a miller and is said to now haunt the village's now ruined and abandoned windmill, the Pinnacocks. Dickey closed his mill in 1930, and 9 years later it was destroyed in a storm when it was struck by lightning. However, it seems Dickey has unfinished business, and his spirit is said to still haunt the windmill. He is normally spotted just before a thunderstorm hits. Feeding spirits. The Blacksmith's Arms isn't the only haunted pub in Pluckly. The Black Horse also has its fair share of ghosts. However, they are shy set of spirits in this boozer, and while they are cheeky, they have never actually been seen. The pub, which used to be a farmhouse belonging to the local bailiff and was surrounded by a moat, is famous for things magically disappearing from right in front of people. But it seemed that these ghosts have consistence because a few days after it appears, they turn up again. Then you've got the White Lady. St. Nicholas marks its third appearance in the list with a White Lady, said to stalk both the church and the library of her old family home surrounding Deering. The grand house was destroyed in a blaze in the 1952, but her spirit was repeatedly seen by staff from the US Embassy, who used to property as a base between World War One and Two. One employer even held an all-night vigil on Christmas Eve, and when the lady in white appeared in front of them, he shot her ghost with his rifle. Suicidal Colonel. The second man who took his life in Pluckly is a Colonel who hanged himself in the park wood. He had been spotted wandering among the trees even though much of the area has been cleared. His spirit still seems to remain. The Poisonous End. Rose Court looks like the perfect, quaint English village home. The house is 250 years old, but hides a very dark past. Its mistress is said to have taken her own life by eating a handful of poisonous berries. The Haunted Hunting Lodge. If you thought 2 haunted pubs in a village was enough, you've definitely never visited Pluckly. The Daring Arms used to be a haunted lodge, and it is said to be home to the ghost of a woman wearing a bonnet. She has been seen by many customers and her figure is so clear. She even been mistaken for a real drinker. 15. The Screaming Woods. This site has become a real tourist trap, with brave souls even choosing to spend the night camping beneath the canopy of trees. There have been numerous reports of the sounds of screaming men and women being heard at dark. There are said to be the sounds of those who have died while lost in misty woods. Wow. So this is one of the really, really haunted villages over in the UK, guys. It's got a lot of hauntings, a lot of places that are haunted as well. There's a lot of history from suicide to painful deaths and mysterious deaths. Just seeing if I can get anything else on it. The village church dates back to the 13th and the 14th century. The Deering chapel, separated from the rest of the church by 2 screens, have found an east end on the South Isles, which was built in 1475. The nave consists brashes dedicated to members of the Deering family, all of which were made in the 1630s. Places of interest. Surden Manor was the former residence of Sir Edward Deering, 1st Baronet. That was from 1598 to 1644, who was buried locally, and it was here that the Deering manuscript, the earliest extant manuscript text of the Shakespeare play. Henry VIII Part 1 and Henry VIII Part 2. The continuous Shakespeare scholar is that of the Deering Miss residence, a reduced prepare about 1613, perhaps for family of amateur theatrics. Evenly farm dates from the 1496 and indicates a collection of stables and outbuildings dating from the 16th to the 18th century. The hauntings of Pluckly is the Guinness Book. It's been in the Guinness Book of Records. The Telegraph. Pluckly is the location of many supernatural television programs such as Most Haunted. A ghostly legend is said to attract amateur ghost hunters today. Among the most famous reported hauntings is that of Red Lady, or Lady Deering, who died in the 12th century. Sighted in the churchyard of St. Nicholas. Other reported hauntings including a ghostly monk, a phantom highwayman, a gypsy woman who died in mysterious circumstances. 3 of these are all within few feet at the road junction. Ghost hunters have dubbed Fight Corner Deering or Screaming Woods. It's also said to be a strong focus of paranormal activity. They've done episodes on LWT, Living TV, Most Haunted, Midsummer Murders, Strange But True, Sci-Fi, Ghost Hunters International, Channel 4, Sunday Night Project, Just Lee Collins and Alan Carr, Will Young, KMF Radio, BBC Radio 4, Top Gear. James May and Richard Hammond were filming a review of Smart Fortunate. Pluckly was featured haunting in Series 1 is episode to episode 9 of the Parapod. This is the episode that first featured Barry's taxis, as Barry takes listeners on a spooky tour of the village and its supposedly haunted location. Ooh, that is a creepy one. Hello, Dragon Stolen, my darling. How are you? How are you, my angels? Hello, Godmama. Oh, I'm going to stop and have a cigarette for a couple of minutes, guys. And a drink. Sherry's throat's going dry. These are not stories, darling. These are actual haunted places in America and in the UK. The one that I've just read you, Pluckly, is in the UK. It's one of the most known haunted villages in England. So the next one that I'm going to read to you now is When I Have Had a Cigarette. We're going to be reading about Buckland Abbey. These are all places that are haunted, guys, just like the ones that I read about America. I've got quite a few different names of different places that I've been looking up, and I'm going to do that each week. And I had some help to find some ghost stories, because the ones I read you the other week, no offence, they were pants. They were not good. John got turned away? What do you mean, guys? I'm lost. Let me go back up the page. I hope you're not finding this boring, guys. I hope you're liking this. It's a bit better than it was the other week. The other day, that's for sure. Just got to keep an eye on the candles to make sure they don't go out. But it looks like there's a lot of stuff on there at the minute. It's very good to see you in, Dragon, darling. And everybody else. I'm trying to just keep everybody happy and trying to give people different stuff all the time. Instead of it just... I know that you guys like the paranormal and everything else. But this all ties in. I'm good, Angelic. I'm glad that you're all enjoying it. That's really cool. Oh. Yeah, but that's because it's lived in. It's still lived. People still live there and that. It takes a lot of work, Dark Prince, my dear. It does. Like trying to keep the channel up and keeping people happy. Well, I've got the names of the ones I'm doing today. What is that place called? When are you going there? Week Wednesday. So not this week, next week. Well, I've got another Paranormal Sunday where I'm going to be doing more stories. So this Sunday coming, I'll read up about that, and we'll do that one, because I've got my ones for today, and I don't want to mess it up in case it all disappears. We'll do that on this Sunday coming. It's good to see lots of people in here. Does it sound good with the music on? Just wanted to give that atmosphere. No, not at the minute, but apparently for the next 4 days we have got really, really bad weather coming. Like, we've got floods, thunderstorms and everything coming for the next 4 days. We've been warned that there's going to be extreme damage to houses and other things. So yeah, not looking forward to that. Well, any places that you know and you like the sound of, write them in this room now. And then what I can do is write all of them names down on my list. And they can be other places that we can look up. If anybody's thinking of going there, I can do some little read-ups on it. Because that's what these ones were. They're actually real haunted locations in the UK and in the USA. So it's called Pembree Haunted Woods. Okay, I'll put in the Pembree Haunted Woods, and I'll put in haunted World War II bunkers as well. Yeah, I'll have a look at that. I'll have a look tonight, get it all wrote down. Any places that you guys are interested in visiting and don't know much about at the minute, I could try and look it up and do you these stories on it. Dover Castle. Oh yeah. Hello, beauty of nature. We are doing the spooky night. Oh yeah. I'll make sure I find some good stuff, John. So you know what you're in for. It's going good, thank you. I'm actually enjoying this. It's nice to chill out and to just do some stories. I'm meant to be doing some paranormal tonight, but it's getting really, really late. So what I might do is just change the paranormal. Not too bad, Sherry. Tell me nice things. Oh my God. John, you're an investigator. You know it's not all nice. I'll get some little nice bits in there, but might have to do my paranormal bit in the week, as I'm going to be too tired. You're in a tent and Emma's been snoring. Oh dear. Okay. Let's get on to the next one, shall we? High five to Emma. So the next place is Buckland Abbey, guys. Okay, yeah, no, right, if you just write all the names of the places you think would be really good for me to look up and talk about in future streams on a Sunday night, put it all in this room and I can look it up and bring it to light. Right, so the next one, my darlings, is Buckland Abbey. Ooh, what do we have with Buckland Abbey, eh? A time wrap. Nestling in the peaceful woodlands setting in the sleepy buildings of Buckland Abbey blends harmoniously into the surroundings of no one who ventures here can deny that the whole foundation lies in a time wrap. In 1582, the abbey was purchased by Sir Francis Drake, who set about a rebuilding programme, which local tradition claims took a mere 3 nights to complete because he invoked the assistance of the devil. Drake's ghostly cottage, a punishment for the demonic dabbling Drake, is said he's been condemned henceforth to drive a black hearse drawn by 4 headless horses across Dartmoor on moonless, windswept night. The fearsome cottage is pursued by a spectacle pack of baying hounds, their hellish screams carried upon the wild wind as they seek the souls of the unbaptized infants. Drake's drum. Inside the building is displayed the drum that Drake supposedly gave instructions was to be returned to Buckland Abbey as he lay dying aboard his ship on Puerto Bello, Panama in January 1596. The spirit of Drake is said to live on in the battered drum. On this battered drum, and there is an old tradition that his beat will be heard whenever England is in danger. It was heard on the eve of the Battle of Trafalgar, and again on 1939 when the spectre of another war hung over Europe, and Drake descendants steeled themselves to fight off the threat of another invasion. Buckland Abbey is the home of Elizabeth hero Sir Francis Drake, boasts at the fine 16th century Great Hall. This building is also associated with the Genevieve, who was also Elizabeth Seafarer, formerly a citizen monastery which was in a state of ruins prior to being purchased by its now new owner Sir Francis Drake in 1581. There are indeed a wide area of curious cases of the supernatural associated in the 700-year-old structure. The building contains a selection of Drake relic and paintings, and no more so than the most treasured relic being Sir Francis Drake's drum, which is said to have accomplished Drake on board his ship, the Golden Hind. This very drum would have been out 1,000 sounds on the onslaught of the battle as a call of arms. It is too known that this very drum has been heard beating out a ghostly tattoo during the First World War in 1915 and once again in 1965, witnessed by the Grander, who stated that he clearly heard the drum beat out. Sir Francis Drake did indeed live the life of a national hero, although his spirit is said to haunt a variety of locations around Devon, including Buckland Abbey, where ghostly apparitions have been witnessed being accompanied by the pack of so-called hellhounds, are rumoured to haunt his former home. There are stories of other ghosts being sighted in and around Abbey, and also rumours of an uncovered tunnel connecting the Abbey to the local village. Also legends about Sir Francis Drake being in league with the devil to ensure the defeat of the Armada. There is a well-known poem written by Sir Henry Newbolt, which was published in 1895, referring to Drake's drum. Take my drum to England, hang each by the shore, strike each when you powards running low. If the Dons sight Devon, it's quite the port o' heaven, and drum up the channel as we drummed them long ago. It's an interesting one. So haunted by hellhounds and other things. That's crazy. That is in Devon, guys. You've got some very, very, very cool places all over the world that are very haunted and got some really good stories behind them. Good night, Paranormal Wales. Thank you for coming in. So the next one is Winchester Mansion, guys. Winchester Mansion, Winchester Park, Nympsfield, Gloucestershire. A sense of genuine achievement holds sway over the landscape that cradles Winchester Mansion, one of Britain's most energetic haunted houses, in a tender embrace. Winchester Mansion is approached via a long, unruttled track that measured through a tranquil valley where, with every step taken, you feel the modern age slip further behind you. Suddenly you're round a bend, and there, huddled against a hillside, is the glorious apparition in golden limestone. Turrets and towers loom over you, hollow windows gazed overwards, whilst grosbeaks and gharials leer down at you from the soaring walls of an imposing house that time forgot. The valley now occupied by Winchester's mansion was originally the estate of the Darcy family. Legends hold that when the second Earl of Darcy threw a lavish dinner to celebrate his success to the earldom in 1840, he was somewhat taken back when his father's ghost interrupted the festival by accompanying the seat that he was intending to sit in at the head of the table. Indeed, it gave him such a fright that he left the place never to return. In 1845, the northern part of his estate was purchased by William Leith, an immensely wealthy gentleman and a recent convert to the Catholicism. Leith set about planning a house that would stand as a lasting testimony of his Catholic learnings, and approached the master of Gothic Revival architecture, Augustus Pugin, who designs includes the Houses of Parliament in London. The two men, however, didn't exactly see eye to eye, especially where money was concerned, and by 1850 the project of realising Leith's visions had fallen to a much younger local architect, 21-year-old Benjamin Bucknell. Bucknell set about designing a truly grandissime house, and for 16 years craftsmen and builders labored onto his construction. But then suddenly in 1868, for reasons which have never been fully explained, the workers literally downsed their tools and left site, leaving his room unfinished and its window unglazed. Rumours persist that a murder on his site was behind Exodus. It has even been suggested that supernatural activity may have been responsible. The likeliest explanation is that the project proved too costly even for William Leith's deep pockets, and the money simply ran out. Whatever the explanation for the sections of construction, the result today is that one entering the mansion, you step into a time warp and stray onto a mid-19th century building site. Victorian tools lie scattered about the interior. Ladders remain propped where they were left against exposed walls. Fireplaces hang suspended in mid-air. Doors lead nowhere. and upstairs corridors end at precarious drops from which you truly begin to appreciate the sheer magnitude of this remarkable house. Following William Leith's death in 1973, his son, also named William, asked Buckland to furnish him with two quotes, one to complete the house, the other to demolish it. When both provided prohibitive expenses, the mansion was simply abandoned. There was a sudden flurry of activity in 1894 when the drawing room was already completed for a visit by Cardinal Vergen, Roman Catholic Archbishop of Westminster. But this was the only room ever to be furnished, and therefore its fortunes were left to time and fate. During the Second World War, American and Canadian troops set up camp in the pasture opposite and commended the house's cellars to store equipment. They used the lakes in Winchester Park to train for the D-Day landings, and during one exercise a bridge over the lake collapsed and several soldiers were drowned. Their bodies were brought back to the mansion, and despite over 6 years having elapsed since the tragic event, vestiges of it still seem to linger. Mediums have sensed presence of people in military uniform inside, and the eerie sounds of 1940 music has been heard echoing along the corridors. Without doubt, one of the most curious and grandest parts of the house is the chapel. Some people have reported the strange smell of freshly extinguished candles there, although no candles have been burning prior to the appearance of the mysterious aroma. Others have caught sightings of a short man standing in one of the chapel doorways. He does nothing except gaze up at the alternate windows, and he gives the impression that he is somewhat concerned about them. It has been surmised that he may be the ghost of the stonemason, and that his anxiety may be caused by the fact that water penetration during the years when the house was abandoned has caused a lot of damage to the chapel's stonework. He may also be behind the small stones that visitor have from time to time reported being flicked across the room when there is most certainly nobody visual in direction from which they came. A phantom female voice has been heard signing an Irish lament in the kitchen, whilst in the same room there have been reports of a young man crouched in a corner who is apparently hiding from somebody. He may have links to the reverend of the tall man who stands in the kitchen doorway and who appears to be searching for someone. As he leans towards the very area where the young man has been sighted. Perhaps these two ghosts are in some way related to the manor's past, and their appearances related to some long-forgotten incident. Indeed, it would seem that only the fact that they choose to manifest at different times have kept the young man from being found, since, as many witnessed while attended, his hiding place is not that hidden. A young girl has been seen skipping playfully up and down the house's grand stairs, seemingly oblivious to the startled reaction she invokes from those who chant upon her. On the first floor corridor, the spectre of a young woman has been both seen and heard, and she has been known on occasions to stand at one of the windows watching and coming and going of visitors below. The pet dog of the house caretaker seems to be more than aware of the ghostly presence that roamed the building. On one occasion, the caretaker watched its sight on the sofa and wagged its tail at someone who it could obviously see but who remained invisible to the caretaker. Moments later, the dog proceeded to lick the air, and although no one was visual, its tongue was definitely bracing against something. Winchester Mansion is a truly special and unique place, and a true aura of achievement hangs over this whole edifice. I can honestly say that I found it one of the most moving properties I have ever visited, and it was with some reluctance that I walked back along the rutted track and left the house to its memories and mysteries and shadows. Wow, what a place! Wow, that is pretty insane. Brief history. Winchester Mansion was created by William Leaf. William Leaf bought the Winchester Park estate for $100,000. He demolished the Springfield Park to give way to the mansion. Spring Park used to be the home of the Darcy family. After having been transferred from one owner to another, the mansion ownership was finally granted to George Huntley. It is said that the expense of the park nearly bankrupted George Huntley. To this day, this glorious 19th century Gothic masterpiece stands incomplete, in the same state as it was when it was abandoned in 1870. Ghosts at Winchester Mansion. The haunted reception of Winchester Mansion has led it to be featured in several ghostly television programs. It has been featured in Most Haunted Life in 2003 and then again in 2005. It has also been featured in Hauntings and Ghost Hunters International. Several sightings have been reported over the last 200 years. In 1902, a vicar was reported to have been seen a strange apparition at the mansion's gates. A phantom horseman had also been seen on the mansion's drive. It is said that the mansion itself is the epicenter of all hauntings happening in the area. There is the tall man of the chapel, which has been seen many times, and the elemental in the house cellar. The mansion is said to be the home of some of the scariest ghosts in the United Kingdom. Visitors have collapsed and have been attacked by ghostly dwellers of the mansion. There is a floating head which has been seen by many visitors in one of the bathrooms. There is also the spectre of the old woman who likes to attack female visitors by grabbing them in the dark. It is said that the reason why the mansion is haunted is that it stands on the site of 3 previous buildings which are also haunted. The mansion has its own chapel, and satanic ritual has been reported in this chapel. People have reported hearing a woman singing an Irish folk song in the scullery. The ghost of a young girl has been seen several times playing and running up and down the stairs of the mansion first floor. If you want to see a majestic mansion and encounter ghostly dwellers that don't want to leave and especially don't like visitors, you should visit the Winchester Mansion. Ooh. Wow. Wow. Ooh. You know, we've had some really, really good places that we spoke about today. Really, really good places. So today's stories, today's haunted places we've looked up was, we had the Stanley Hotel, the Winchester Mystery House, and Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. They are America. And then for the UK, we had Pluckly Village, Buckland Abbey, and Winchester Mansion. Wow. What a place. What places. Good. Yeah, they're not, well, they are, I guess they are stories because they're about things, but these are actually real haunted places. They actually exist and still stand. But we are going to do some little ghost stories because I did promise I was going to do some ghost stories, but I'm going to have another cigarette first and a bit more drink. All that talking, it hurts your voice after a while. Anyone that's coming in the room and hasn't heard about the real places that are haunted in the UK and in America, please go back over this, and I'm going to be doing some ghost stories as well. How are you, Patrick? I'm really enjoying it. I'm loving it. It's gone really well this time. I'm loving it. The thing is with the hauntings in the UK and the buildings in the UK, it's a lot of history. There is a lot of history. A lot of the places that are built, obviously like the Winchester Mansion, that was built on top of a site where there's been 3 other buildings that were previously there that were haunted as well. So that place is very haunted by a number of different spirits for many reasons. And you'll find that there's a lot of that in the UK, because places have been took down, new places have been built, places have been built on top of cemeteries and other things. And a lot of people that know the UK say that the UK is one of the most haunted like continents, because of the history and the things that have happened. And we've got a lot of history like all other countries have, but they just say that the history is different, and the hauntings and the way that the hauntings have been different. I've got a few other places that I've got wrote down to do as well, which indicate with places in London, because London is a very haunted area in the UK, for lots of reasons, and royalty and so on. So I've got like the Tower of London and the London dungeons and places like that, because they're going to be. What are you doing? Always like, there's been so many places, and the places in London, like the Tower of London and them sort of places. Wow, yeah, there's a lot of history there. Yeah, there's some lovely places, cemeteries in the UK. What I'm wanting to do is, when this pandemic gets out of the way, I'm wanting to go up to London and go to some cemeteries, even if it's in the daytime and stuff, just to go and have a look round and stuff. And then that, like, at a later date, I'll have to see if I can get some people to come down with me and go down for an evening, stay overnight, because I would like to get some places, and I would like to stay into some of the hotels as well, because there's some really haunted hotels in London. It'd be really good to get an overnight in one of the places as well. This has been very, very interesting. Yep. Oh yes. Got some really good places all over the place. Hello, shrimp. I'm at home in my front room suite. Got all my candles and everything up. I'm in my front room. I've got my altar all set up here, guys. Look. Should be up here cigarettes on it, but I won't. But yeah, that's my altar. And then I've got my little skull up on here with my little candles at the side. I wanted to just make it look. I like to make it look really cool. I thought it needs to look really cool because it's like a scary story time. So wanted it to look good. Yes, it's meant to look spooky. Yeah, I've got my little. They're all like witch related and stuff like that. I've just had to move a couple of bits away so I could put the candles on it because I didn't want to be putting the candles on the floor or anything and catching fire. Yes, well, it is welcoming because it's a good order, but I just thought it looked really good. And obviously, my skull up here is a little money box, but I just thought it just set that little feature for the ghost stories and stuff. It looks quite cool seeing that little ghostly face behind my head. You know what I mean? Where's the crystal? The crystal ball's there. Crystals balls over here, and then you've got all of the bits. There's crystals here. I just wanted to try and make it look as spooky as I could. Awesome, yeah. I always have my crystal ball and everything on my altar. Always do. Let's see who's in the room first so we can do a big shout out quickly. So we have got, it looks good. Thank you, Patrick. So we've got Patrick Milhar. We've got Liam's Irish Journeys with Mama Liam. We've got Shrimp Shack. Maggie Joe. Olive Midwaves. Mama Liam. Thinking of others. Hello, my darling. Love you all so far in the room. Angelic Dreams. Love you. Hello. Welcome. Dark Prince Lucy. Hello. Claire Albert. Hello. Paranormal Wales UK. Hello. I want to do a big shout out to my sis, Short Fry, and Paranormal Circle, and my pups from Chasing Bones Inspectors, and my bruh as well, which is Blue Falcon. Big shout outs to them. Big shout out to Oracles and Beyond and Epic Paranormal TV. John from HSFL Paranormal TV. Also, to all of my other guys that come in my room and support me. You've got Free Souls Paranormal. You've got Frank as well, which is from Free Souls Paranormal, and his wife, Mary. So big shout outs to them. You've got Astrid, you've got Adriel, you've got Brian, loads and loads and loads of people that I'm shouting out. All of my guys that I support and I love. Big shout outs to you all, guys. I just thought that I thought Sundays needed to be a bit different. We needed to have something where we could all sit down and chill and enjoy and have a laugh. There's a lot of lurkers in the room as well, so big shout outs to our lurkers as well, because I know that some of my guys don't like to write, they just like to watch as well. So you've got, like, obviously you've got Sandra Two Dimensional Paranormal, you've got Vegas Ghost Girls, you've got Jad and Bill and Free Music. We've got Old School. We've got loads of people that I give big shout outs to. Oh, wow. Awesome. Liam. Right, just give me 2 minutes. I'm just going to let my boy out for a wee. You're very welcome, thinking. Dragon Stolen as well. And Dragon Style, big shout outs to them. And you've got all the others like Shelley and loads of people. Big shout out to you all. Meowies. Oh, Meowies. Olive Meowies. Sorry, sweetheart. It's my dyslexia. I'm not very good at understanding stuff like that. I do try. Donna Ray, how are you? Big shout out to you as well, sweetheart. Welcome. Yes, that's going to be coming up in the next couple of weeks, guys. The 48-hour one. Yes, of course you can, Liam. Of course. You're a mod, of course you can. Anybody is welcome to put links in if you're mod. Put the links for people in the room. It's all about helping each other out. That is what I am about. Oh, sweetheart. I'm sorry, Donna, that you're not having a great time. I'm sending you healing, blessings, and love, sweetheart. And I hope that your day starts to get better for you. And I will do some prayers for you, my darling. Things will get better. We all go through difficult times, but we will get through that and there will be a light. Do not worry. You're very welcome, sweet. That's what I'm about. That is the link to the new Facebook group that Liam set up for paranormal people and for people that are creators and stuff as well. Please go check it out, guys. It's more than likely going to be awesome. No, like I really don't feel like putting all of my equipment out, but I don't know if I should just put my camera on and just have the mirror and the girls in front and the K2 meter and just play the video off. Just play it, not do a proper investigation. Just see if they do anything because we've been doing a spooky night and reading and that they might be on it. That's That's cool. So you set it up then, Liam. And if you need help on the channel, I'm more than happy to be an admin for you as well, sweetheart. Obviously, when I can be on there, I'd be on there. It's up to you, obviously. Thank you, Maggie. And sometimes it is hard when you're like that, but I will admit my reading and my writing and stuff's got better, but I'm not very good with reading and writing, maths, anything like that. I'm not very good at it. But as time's gone on and I've got older, I have got better, but I'm still not 100%. And I've never been someone that lets that sort of thing get to me. And that sometimes it's got me a bit down when people have took the mickey out of me, but 9 times out of 10, I don't let it get to me because it's just one of those things, you know. Just because you're dyslexic and or you've got other sort of like disabilities and that, it doesn't mean that you're not clever. It doesn't mean that you don't know things. You know, don't be ashamed of what you are. It's what makes you who you are. You know, I find I inspire a lot of people and help a lot of people out, and I don't need to be the most brightest person in the world to do that. I'm good at what I do. I'm good in what I do, and that's enough. You know, that's how I look at it. Nobody is perfect. Everybody's got something that they're not good at. Mine just happens to be reading and writing and that. But then, in other ways, I'm very talented because I'm very, how do you put it? Very open to being creative. And that's in many, many ways, you know, dancing, in my witch stuff and stuff like that, you know. So I'm very proud of what I am. Hello, Anita. Big shout out to you, darling. So what I want to do now, guys, is get into some spooky ghost stories now. We'll do a few ghost stories. I won't do loads of ghost stories, but I'm going to do 2, maybe 3. We will put the music on and have it up just a little slightly bit louder. I don't know if I can find another music. I like that music though. I think it's very fetching for what I'm doing. Ooh. She haunts you again. She comes from the dark side. Enter if you dare. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. Right, so now we're going to go into the ghost stories. Right, let's have a look. Chilling ghost stories that will make you believe in the afterlife. 8 real ghost stories, true ghost stories from the UK and beyond. Which one? There's do one from that one and one and maybe two from the other one. Let's give it a go, shall we? Here it goes. 8 real ghost stories, true ghost stories from the UK and beyond. We have actually been telling ghost stories for thousands of years. One of the oldest documented ghost stories was found on one piece of broken pottery dating back over 12,000 BC years. And we're still telling stories today. Albeit in different and most advanced forms, from the simple text-based stories to the found footage videos we can see on YouTube. True ghost stories are the perfect way to give yourself a bit of a fright. Ghost story number 8. The 12,000 BC Egyptian ghost story. Perhaps one of the oldest real-life ghost stories in documented history in the 12,000 BC. Tale from Egypt that was found of some piece of broken pottery. It's a story of a ghost stuck in a tomb who complains of being stuck in the darkness and never seeing the light. We have never quite learned why this man was doomed to eternal darkness. The ancient Egyptians were very spiritual and believed strongly in the afterlife, which goes some way into explaining the origins of the story. Number 7. The Secret Inn. If you are looking for ghost stories UK, then this tale from Wales will be sure to fit the bill. The Secret Inn is well known as being one of the most haunted spots in the country, and with good reason. It's Wales' oldest inn and has stood for over 900 years. The first floor used to be used as a courthouse and is thought that some of the 118 felons that were convicted there still regularly return today. A number of those felons were convicted of death by hanging, and if you visit the Secret Inn today, you still see the noose hanging from the beam over the stairs. Newsham Park Hospital, Liverpool. This hospital in Liverpool is the perfect place to visit if you are looking for a good British ghost story. In fact, it's like something straight out of the horror movie plot. The Victorian building was first used as an orphanage but was converted into a mental hospital. Visit it today and it still looks like an abandoned hospital, complete with the wheelchairs in the corridors and the bars across the windows. Screams have been heard in the dead of the night, and nurses reported seeing apparitions and unexplained figures walking through the hospital whilst it was still open. Regular ghost hunting events occur at this hospital today, and many visitors report encountering small children during the visit. Now, this is the kicker. There has never ever been a child ward nor any children staying at the hospital, and many suspect that these children are spirits simply playing at the hospital, stuck there, who may have died at the site when it was still open, operating as an orphanage. We have ghost hunts at the Newsham Park most weeks, have a look at our Newsham Park ghost hunts. Ooh. Chilling ghost stories that will make you believe in the afterlife. Let's try that one. Do you believe? According to a 2017 poll by Electoral Research, some 39% of Australians believe angels and demons are active in the world, and 35% of the respondents believe ghosts exist and can influence their will on the living. Scientists have come up with many reasons for spirit sightings, ranging from physical, low-frequency sound, magnetic fields, thermal patterns, to the paralogical suggestibility, fear of mortality. But while ghosts can't be proved to exist, they cannot be soundly debunked either. We have selected 5 of the most intense, most vivid, flashed experiences with the paranormal. Read them and then ask yourself, do you believe? Do you believe? Shall we see if you will after? The little hand. The little hands. I've never lived in a haunted house, but my mother did as a teen. Other houses on her street had strange things going on. A few homes away from her lived a man and his family. One night, one of his daughters went to bed with a bad headache. The next day, she was dead. She passed away from an aneurysm. After the funeral, the family went away to get their minds off the tragedy, and the father asked my uncle, my mum's brother, to check on their pets. My mum and dad, they were dealing then, went with my uncle. My mother had heard there was a grand piano and she wanted to play it, and my dad was studying to be a vegetarian. After entering the house, my uncle and my father headed to the basement to see the animals, and my mother went to the piano on the ground floor. She was playing it when she felt something brush her ankles. She thought a cat must have left the basement and walked past her. She kept playing and she felt it again. She looked under the piano and saw nothing, but when she started again, she felt hands clasp her leg and grab them tightly. She dashed to the basement door, called to my uncle and my father, and waited for them. When they all walked outside, my uncle could tell my mum was rattled and asked what was wrong. She told him what had happened and he turned white. He told her the daughter who died used to play a game with her father. When he'd play the piano, she would crawl underneath and grab his ankles and push his feet up and down on the pedals. Ooh, that is pretty creepy sounding. The unseen patient. The ambulance company that I used to work for had a haunted ambulance, rig 412. A lot of EMTs had stories about it, but I never put much stock in paranormal stuff. That is until I had my own experience with rig 12. My partner and I were working in a rural community at 3 a.m. and it was pitch black and completely quiet. We were both dozing. I was in the driver's seat and she was in the passenger seat. I woke up to the muffled voice and I thought my partner was talking. I told her I was trying to sleep and closed my eyes. I directly heard a male voice, "Oh my God, am I dying?" followed by the second of heavy breathing. My partner and I sat straight up and looked back into the patient compartment where it sounded like the voice had come from. Things were quiet for a couple of seconds, then we heard the click of an oxygen bottle regulator and a hiss as if it was leaking. I turned on the light and we ran out the rig. I thought a transit might have climbed in while we were asleep, so we opened the rear door. No one was there. I checked the oxygen bottle, neither was open. We didn't sleep much after that. Wow. The Impish Ghost. My neighbour Diane and I had a playful poltergeist for years, and we called it Billy. I'd come home and find something put in a weird place, milk in a cupboard, toilet paper in a fridge, laundry detergent in a bathtub. Diana once called to ask if Billy had been around because she couldn't find a gallon of milk. We finally found it outside on her back step, and sugar. Darn sugar, every morning my sugar bowl was empty. When I had enough, I'd point to Diane's home and yell, "Go see Diane." Within 5 minutes, I'd get a call from her and she'd say, "Thanks a lot," because he's gone and pulled he's gone and pulled shenanigans at her place. This occurred for the entire 2 years we lived there. No one believed us, not even our husbands. My mother thought someone was stealing from us when we were sleeping or out of the house. My sister believed something was going on, but didn't know what. I still can't explain any of it. The Eerie Attic. It seems so cliché to start saying I don't believe in ghosts, but however, that's where I'm coming from. A few years ago, I moved into a one-bedroom apartment in Melbourne, Australia. It was my first time living on my own. The apartment blocks had been built in the 1903. I'd been there for a few months when I came home from work one day and went into the bathroom. I saw something strange, the wooden board covering a hole in the ceiling that led to a small attic space lay broken in two pieces on the ground. I examined the broken pieces. The board was an inch thick, and it would have taken a Bruce Lee to break it. I thought the landlord had sent someone to work on the attic. I was frozen stiff with fear. I thought someone is up there for sure. I emailed pictures to the landlord asking if anyone had been there with an undertone of annoying since she hadn't warned me. He replied, read, "Please call me as soon as you are able to." I called and she explained that their last two tenants had said the same thing happened. She promised to replace the board and she did. A month later, I woke up one night about 4 a.m. I had so many goosebumps, it felt like someone was rubbing his or her hands on me. Everything was silent, but then I heard this sound coming from above my bed. It was a dragging sound, like someone pulling a sack of potatoes. I was frozen stiff with fear. I thought someone is up there for sure. There is no way an animal could make that sound. After 5 minutes, I managed to work up the courage to turn on the light and to walk to the bathroom. I was armed with a cricket bat. When I looked up, I saw that there was a new board covering the hole, was broken in two. I felt sick. The dragging sound had stopped, but I heard something else whispering. The sound was very clear and coming from the attic. It sounded like children's voices, and I could hear one sentence repeated over and over. It's your turn. It's your turn. I switched on every light in the apartment to make things feel normal. It was 5 a.m. and dark outside. I watched the TV to try and unwind. Then a fuse blew. My pet budgie, Dexter, whom I kept in the kitchen, usually never made a sound at night, but he started squawking like he was being strangled. I'd never heard him make those sorts of noises. He was screaming. I grabbed my car keys. I ran out, sat in the car, and waited there until sun come up. When I saw people walking their dogs, this comforted me enough to go back in. The front door was open, but I thought I hadn't closed it when I ran out. I went to the kitchen to check on Dexter, and he wasn't in his cage. I felt sick again. All my windows were closed, so I looked everywhere inside. When I walked into the bathroom, I heard splashing. Dexter was half drowned in the toilet. I took him out, washed him, and dried him. I was so confused. At 8 a.m., I called the landlord and gave her a wanted down version of the night. Oh, whoa, you heard the whispering too, she said. I stayed in that apartment for another 18 months. I heard the whisperings on a few occasions, and twice the board covering the hole in the ceiling moved. Although I live elsewhere, the landlord recently called. She said there that her new tenants had begged to speak with me about some of the stuff that's been going on there. Forget it. It's their problem now. Wow. Ooh. Yeah. No. Ooh, there. Oh, no. Yes. Woo-hoo. That's a little bit more spine chilling, guys. Makes your hairs on the back of your neck stand up. Mm. We'll read this last one, and then I'm going to go and chill because that is the last one anyway, so that's good. So we'll read this one then. So this one is called The Boy with No Eyes. One night when I was 10, I was woke up by my bedroom door opening, followed by someone sitting on my bed. One night when I was 10, I was woke up by my bedroom door opening, followed by someone sitting on my bed. I felt my legs grazed and the bed sink under the person's weight. Thinking it was my mum, I opened my eyes to see an eyeless boy. He had black, empty sockets, about my age, sitting at the foot of my bed. He extended his hands, and in that It was all a little box. I was startled but reached out. He pulled back. I reached again and said, "Give it." Then I blinked, and when I reopened my eyes, he was gone. But the imprint of someone sitting on my bed was present. Fast followed 5 years. My first girlfriend come over to my homework to do homework. After she finished, she took a nap while she waited for her parents. When they arrived, I tried to waking her up. She opened her eyes suddenly, looking up at the corner of the wall met the ceiling. She pointed there and went back to sleep. I shook her again. She came to full consciousness, and I explained what she'd done. She said, "Up on the wall, I saw a little boy with no eyes. He was there in a Spider-Man pose, staring at me." I freaked out and told her my story about the same kid. Fast forward another 5 years, I was with my same girlfriend, and we had a 2-year-old. We were living in my parents' house in my old room. My daughter started waking up at the same time every night, and she'd talk. After a while, I noticed she had almost the same conversations every night. I playfully asked her once whom she was talking to. She said, "It's a little boy. He's nice. He's lost and he's looking for his mummy." My daughter's nightly conversations continued until we got our place later that year. Wow. Hello, Banner HD. Hello, MCAT. So in a minute, guys, I'm just going to turn the light back on for the minute. But in a minute, I am going to say goodnight to you all. I might put on my camera, but if not, I'll do that tomorrow or Tuesday. I'll probably do it Tuesday because it'll give them a few more days to get their energy, and then we'll be able to do some investigating. We'll do it properly because I'll do the full investigation then. We'll do some ghost spirit boxes and the EVPs and get all of the information and stuff out. Yeah. It's been an interesting night. It's been very fun. We've had some very good ghost stories. So obviously, like I said, so Tuesday we're going to do some paranormal investigating. So it'll be probably around 11:30, 12 o'clock. I will come on. We will do some spirit box apps. Use the EVPs, use the Ovlius, dowsing rods, pendulum. I will put all of my equipment out with some little trigger objects, which will be my crystal ball and my batteries. And we'll do that. And we will do some orb watching and see if we can see the spirits and stuff walking around as we normally do anyway. So, you know, tonight I just wanted it to be a calm and chilled night where we have some really cool ghost stories and have some haunted history about some haunted places in the UK and in America. I think that went very, very well. I've found the perfect soundtrack to start my streams off. I've got plenty more stories to come because I've got quite a few places so that we can look up haunted places. And I've got some places in the room that guys have wrote down as well, which I need to write onto my list. And then obviously I've got some ghost stories. And if I need to find any more, I'll get a certain person to look for some more stories. Because the more of them I have, the better. But I really, really enjoyed doing the history and talking about the haunted buildings. And I also enjoyed talking and reading the ghost stories as well. Who's Adriel? Hello, Oracles, my darling. How are you? How are you, sis? Hope that you are well. Happy birthday to anybody having a birthday, guys. Hope that you are having an amazing day. How can you thank me? Just by continuing to be here, my angel. Thank you, thinking. You guys make everything that I do worth it because you guys are worth it. And it's something that I can share with you guys. I don't have to read it on myself and get spooked. I can sit with you guys, you know. When it comes to spirits and ghosts, it don't bother me. But when you get these really creepy stories and you hear what people have endured, that gets my skin up a little bit because I think, oh, you poor people, like what they're going through. And it makes me go back to my first experiences when I was really young and stuff like that. And sometimes when you read some of the stories, that they're like, wow, right, I feel sorry for them. But this is going to be every Sunday as well, guys, where I'm going to be doing some haunted history on some buildings. And I'm also going to be doing ghost stories because that is one of my things for a Sunday evening now. And I'm going to do it around this time. I will start at 10:30 and finish around 1:30, 2, depending on how many stories I do that time and how much. It all depends on how much detail you've got on the stuff as well, I guess. But I've really, really enjoyed tonight. Hello, Mittens, and you know anybody that is coming in and has missed the haunted history part and this part where we done some ghost stories. Please go back over again. You'll enjoy it, guys. Oh right, well yeah, that's why I did. I just said happy birthday to anyone that's got a birthday. I knew that he was some sort of smart ass, so that's why I wasn't really taking any notice. I don't listen. We do not take notice of that, do we, guys? So, you know, I thought I'd set it up over here because it's my altar and it's going to look the part. You've got my little skull up there and all sorts of things. So, you know, it's been a very good night. I'll stay on here while I smoke my cigarette and then I'm going to come off and I will finish with the music again. Yeah, I admit he was a bit strange. I agree there, Patrick, most definitely. It does. It's been very haunted looking because we had all the lights off, just had the candles burning in the background and all the stories and the haunted history bits about places in America and over here. And I'm going to be doing that every single Sunday from 10:30. No, I'm going to have that soundtrack as the start of the show, but I want to find some other soundtracks to do over the stories and stuff. How have you been, Cassie, my darling? Are you going live at all, sweetheart? Thank you. Yeah, well, you know what I'm like, guys. I like to keep you guys happy. Like, I know that you love my paranormal and my spiritual stuff, and when I do my witchy bits, but I want to do other things. I looking after that and doing my bits, and I want to bring other stuff on to make it more interesting as well. Oh, awesome. Well, I'll be checking that out then. So, I am trying to bring lots of different things. That's why I'm doing these interviews on a Saturday, and I'm doing the interviews, this stuff on a Sunday. Then obviously in the week it's going to be concentrating on my shop when that's open, but on the days off it's going to be making my candles and stuff, and obviously doing my paranormal and stuff like that. And I could do them on the days that I'm not working as well. Like when I've finished, like a few hours later or something. I'm a very busy girl, guys. Wandering Pebbles, hello, darling. That's old school's wife, isn't it? Is that old school's wife? That's what I want to do. I help you to open your minds and hearts to things. I know a lot of you guys listen to these stories and you're probably thinking, oh my God, it's so scary. Oh, those places seem really freaky. But you know what? You've got to investigate them sort of places. You've got to. They are the sort of places. It's lovely to see you in here, Pebbles. It's been a really good night tonight. No dramas and problems, just a smooth ride. Lots of supporters in the room, lots of thumbs, lots of enjoyment. That's what I come on here to do. My aim is to make sure that you guys are happy and you've got what you deserve. So I wanted to give you a really cool, scary ghost night, and that is exactly what I did. Now Tuesday will be paranormal. Some more good stuff to follow. I'm hoping at some point as well, either tomorrow or Tuesday morning, that I'm going to be doing some card readings and some meditation. I was meant to do that today, but I didn't end up being able to do it because my brother turned up to see me, so I couldn't do that part. I was actually getting ready to do it when he came, so I didn't get to do that today. So I will be doing some meditation and card reading for you guys, either today, which is Monday for me now because it's 1:34, or it will be Tuesday. It's called Walmart. Okay. Thinking, is that you being funny? Ha 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 ha. Walmart, that's a supermarket. What's scary about a bloody supermarket? Unless I'm seeing tins floating from one shelf to another, I ain't interested. If there is tins floating and things floating in the air, then I'm game. The people are scary. Well, you know, supermarkets can be haunted. Thinking, have you seen any tins floating in the air? Mysterious trolleys going round on their own? It's a telltale sign. Ghosts at shopping, doing their daily routine. Yeah, Woolworths. We used to have a Woolworths. We don't really have Woolworths over here anymore. A lot of them shut down. You saw pig's feet. What? Oh my God. You saw pig's feet in Walmart. Oh my God, thinking, where have you been going? Oh God, this is why I love you guys. You're so funny. Oh my God, pig's feet, really? Mm. The pig's feet are normally the things that you buy that are really dry and the dogs eat them. I think I have seen some desperated souls in Walmart. They don't have a ghost of any chance of buying anything on a skeleton at salary that are be deviled for sure. Oh my God. Is it? Ooh, Wandering Pebbles. I will have to look at that up. Hanging Rocks. Sounds very interesting. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, nope. I will Google it. Google it, my sweetheart. Don't you worry. Wandering Pebbles. I will do that most definitely. Some people have put some interesting places in the room today, so I am going to be putting them onto my list for places to talk about, and that will definitely be added. Definitely. Hanging Rocks. It sounds interesting, and it's meant to be pretty haunted. I like it. If it's haunted, I'm game. I don't have a very strong stomach. Seriously, I don't. I don't. Oh dear. No, Maggie. No, 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 no. Do you want Sherry to stay in one piece? No. Jesus, take the wheel. I don't think Jesus can take no wheel at the minute. Oh dear. God is the one that pleasured me with a very weak stomach. Telling you. Oh dear. Mm-mm. I'm eating. Thinking. Stop worrying about me. I am eating. I'm eating, sweetheart. That is something that has to be done here. May not have a lot at times, but I do eat. Believe me. Just heard a tap then. Oh dear. Ooh. What's a ribbon? Hello, Lou. Yeah, well, Liam, you're a scallywag. Mr. Liam is a scallywag. It just made Sherry's stomach go iffy. He knows I love him, really. I'm only joking. Liam's awesome, guys. But he is a scallywag. He nearly made me bring up what I ate about 2 hours ago. 3 hours ago. Mama Liam's sticking her tongue out at me. Oh, dear. How are you, Lou? I hope you're all right, sweetheart. Love, light, and blessings to you. Love, light, and blessings to you all. It's gone really, really well tonight. I'm very impressed. I'm very happy with how well it's gone today. It's okay, Lou. You can go back and enjoy it. Spotted what? Liam, what are you on about? Spotted what? We have a pudding over here called Spotted Dick. That is actually a pudding. I'm not being rude. Yeah, I done some haunted history, Lou, and then I done some spooky stories. What a way to go out, eh? Talking about Spotted Dick pudding at the end. Yeah. It is, Maggie. Yep. You feel bad? Laugh my arse off. Oh my god, laugh my arse off. Spotted. Ha 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 ha. Ha. Spotted what, my dear? I'm confused. Hey, what's the joke? Yeah, I don't really want to go back past that, Liam, because it's where you're talking about pig's feet. I just wanted to be hip, and I thought you would enjoy a ribbon. Okay. Naughty spirits are getting to me. I hear Spotted Dick pudding is an English delic. Yeah. Oh dear. My spirits know what Spotted Dick is very well. They enjoy it. Oh my god. And I guess they did not know what she was going on about. Oh dear. Thinking, do you want me to keep my stomach? Really? Thank you, Elvis. Have you got those blue suede shoes on? Oh my god, I bet he did if he didn't know what she was going on about. Oh my god. One day I'll have my blue suede wrench. Yes, you've been coming in a while actually. You have to stay loyal and be good. as it will be gone as quick as it came. Short for I said, if it's spotted, it's something's wrong. Ah! You are very welcome, Elvis, but always stay loyal to my channel. No trouble. I say this to everyone, do not take it to heart. Yeah, well, this is meant to be spotted, and it's meant to be called a dick. Okay, it's a sponge with fruit in it that you put custard with, and my country decided to call it the most lamest name, spotted dick. Okay, what is a knockwurst and Virginia sausage? What's that? You better not be being rude, guys. Yes, it's been hot here as well, but now we're meant to have like 4 days of a storm. So I will be on if the storm lets me. If not, I will be back at some point. Hello, Ghost Adventures of Cornwall. How are you, brother? Hope that you're well. So yes, today we have had some haunted history talk on some buildings of USA and of the UK. And we had some spooky some true life ghost stories of people's experiences with the paranormal. Oh God, thinking. Excuse me a minute, guys. You're killing me. Yes, I have been to cemeteries at night. I go out ghost hunting on my own. Oh, yeah, guys. Let's not talk about let's not talk about pig's feet and pig's ears and sandwiches and things like that because my stomach does not take well to that at all, and especially a whole pig's head. Excuse me. D-Web Gaming. Okay. Hello, through the veil. How are you, sweetheart? I have a box full of stones. If you want it, Maggie. I'm okay, Vale. Just my stomach turned a bit inside out just then. Okay, my sweetheart. Well, I love you too, Vale, and thank you for coming in, sweetheart, and for showing your love. Lots of love and blessings, my sweet. And thank you for coming in. Do you know what? I think that's a cheek to come in my room and say about that woman in my room after she mocked my cousin that lost his life and lied about being in a car accident. Yeah. You've got a pretty screwed up wife. She's the one that started, mate. But that's most definitely got an English spin on it, Maggie. Most definitely. Yeah, do that, Liam. I'm okay thinking. I just think it's cheeky when people come in and say that I should be ashamed for starting with his wife when she mocked about my cousin that had just lost his life, putting laughing faces and stuff in my room, taking the pee, pretending to be in a car accident where I sat and spoke to her thinking she was losing her life, and she goes saying that to him. He needs to get his facts right. Never met such an evil woman in my life. I know you do thinking, and I know that you guys weren't trying to make me feel funny and that you were just trying to have a laugh with me, but I will warn you that my stomach is not the most strongest of things, and when it's certain things being spoke about, when it's food wise, yeah, my stomach goes a bit ooh. And I thank you for your friendship as well, thinking. Exactly, and it's took a year for him to come in and say something. That's what baffled me the most. And he'd have been told straight. And he probably got a very bad reception from me, if that was back then, after what she said and done. I had a lot of respect for that woman, and when she done that, she lost all my respect. Like all the others. So anyway, guys, I'm going to come off of this stream because we have had a very, very good stream. And it's been very cool. And we've had some very cool stories, and we've had a lot of fun. And we've had a laugh. And I'm going to leave, guys. I know that Oracle was saying that Citizen Z is supposed to be on live, so guys, go check him out, and then she will be on after, so go check her out as well. I love you all, my angels. Thank you for coming and sharing this evening with me, and thank you for enjoying the amazing stories with me and being with me and Dash, because Dash has been here the whole time, and the spirits. You guys are awesome. I love you all. You're the best family ever. Remember to keep staying true, keep staying real, and be yourselves. Look after your channels. Do not listen to the hate and the negativity. Just keep rising above it. Keep being the awesome people that you are, because I love you all. And remember that you're loved and you're special, because I say you are. And you know, I'm glad that you all enjoyed the evening tonight. I did as well. And I love you all very much. Love, light, and blessings. Be safe. Be true. And remember, guys, like I said, beautiful Oracle will be on later. But we have got Citizen Z coming on soon. One of my brothers. And you're very welcome, Wandering Pebbles. And you're very welcome, everybody. So, guys, please be safe. Please be true. Keep being yourselves. And remember, when you go to sleep, those spirits creep. And they're always around you. And stay spooky. And I will see you very, very soon. Love, light, and blessings, guys. And I shall leave you with the spooky music. So till next time, don't let those spirits come to you at night. And keep those eyes open.